Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. We're here today to discuss a few different issues plaguing us today that affect each and every one of you. Maybe not today, or maybe not even tomorrow, but you will be affected in your lifetime if we don't work towards stopping them.
This may look like an innocent suburban street, but it's where it all begins. Through overpopulation and urban sprawl, we're spreading quickly, like a cancer on the earth.
Possibly the biggest source of this environmental depletion is an ever-growing world population. With 7 billion people and counting, is it logical to think we can work together to overcome these issues we are creating, or does something catastrophic have to happen first? The Earth is full, the crisis is inevitable, but the question is, how will we react? How would you feel if the lights on our global economy went out? Would you feel anger, fear, or denial? Do you feel like you've done enough for the planet so that you won't feel guilty if we run out of resources and the things we need to survive? Humanity is fast acting when it comes to danger or fear, but we don't react until crisis appears. We need to do something now while the lights are still on.
An ever-increasing population leads to higher demand for resources, including consumer goods, which end up in landfills and fossil fuels burned and emitted into our atmosphere, as well as other natural resources that are already limited, like fresh water. Air pollution largely results as a consequence of overpopulation and overconsumption. The burning of fossil fuels for motor vehicles as well as electricity and other energy needs is quickly increasing the amount of air pollution in our atmosphere. The consequences of this can be extreme and deadly to those living in high levels of air pollution. The air we're breathing should be considered a valuable resource because we simply cannot live without it and have no choice but to breathe it in. Air pollution is a complex science as there are many different types of pollutants that can cause us harm. Every year the level of pollutants in the air grows and the smog thickens. Medical issues derived and aggravated by air pollution are not well known. Air pollution can have devastating long-term health concerns to the general population and immediate concerns for susceptible people. Older and younger people, people with lung and heart conditions, asthma, and other medical conditions are the people in these susceptible parties who must take caution in extreme air pollution conditions. Current early warning systems are in place to help people react and manage bad air quality, as these systems need improvement to explain air pollution to the general public. A research project done in Cache County, Utah County, and Salt Lake County has led Victor E. Archer, MD, to argue for the connection between air pollution and fatal lung diseases in his research paper, Air Pollution and Fatal Lung Diseases in 3 Utah Counties. The research was conducted through the combined efforts of many organizations, including the Department of Family and Preventive Medicine, Rocky Mountain Center for Occupational Environmental Health, and the Department of Family and Preventive Medicine. The study found that 2 of Utah counties had very similar conditions except for the introduction of a steel mill, which raised the community air pollution level in one county. The third county was added to verify results. The test done by Archer and many others proves that the raised air pollution in that county can contribute to 30 to 40% of the deaths by respiratory cancer and MRD to the community's air pollution. Studies like Archer's really bring home the issue of air pollution. Population isn't the only issue involved in air pollution. Our current level of consumption is staggering and unsupportable by our Earth. Renewable energy solutions could be a possible solution to improving air pollution and other problems dealing with overconsumption. According to the TED Talk, A Reality Check on Renewables, with speaker David McKay, to maintain our current level of consumption, we'd have to use sustainable energy options that would take up almost country-sized sections of the planet. Not a very realistic or immediate solution to our problems. So with our current overconsumption, air pollution will continually get worse along with other environmental problems like landfills.
Air pollution isn't the only concern, though. One effect that often goes ignored is that of our waste that is piling up in landfills across the country and around the globe is a result of overconsumption from an extreme population. Everyone around the world uses products that get disposed of after their use, ranging from food, old technology, cleaning products, and many more. But do you know where these unwanted items go after they are collected by the garbage truck, or the possible effects they have if they are not in proper disposal waste facilities? To begin with, there are 4 different types of places that your waste can go: dumps, sanitary landfills, and secured landfills. Dumps are convenient in that you don't need to worry about organizing the waste that comes in. It all goes in one place, which makes it less complicated. However, by not separating the waste into different categories, you run the risk of creating a chemical reaction between existing chemicals. This can cause chemicals to run through the dump and down towards nearby groundwater systems. Landfills and sanitary landfills are another good option since the waste is compacted and covered daily. Yet landfills are not monitored for chemical leakages, which means water or other types of contaminations are highly possible. While these are three possible options, secured landfills are the best choice for the environment and for us. Secure landfills are best because they are planned and monitored to ensure that there is no chemical runoff allowed into the surrounding environment and local groundwater systems. Waste that goes into secured landfills are separated and put in different locations. This is done to minimize the risk of different chemicals from the waste intermixing and creating a reaction that causes the chemicals to escape the landfill and contaminate our resources. If there is a reaction between certain chemicals, the secure landfill has drains which are designed to catch what is leaking out of the waste. When the secure landfill is full, it is then covered with a compacted clay cap so nothing is exposed to the environment. Overall, this is the best type of waste disposal facility since it is monitored regularly to make sure leakages don't escape from the landfill. Also, waste is actually organized into different parts to prevent chemicals from contaminating our resources. Prevention is the most important factor when choosing which waste disposal site to build, especially if you are trying to prevent health problems that are associated with contaminated water. Because if a landfill is not used or built properly, then many things can happen. The most important is that
Mismanaged and designed landfills can increase pollution in our groundwater, but that's not the only source. The world is running out of clean water. We view the world's fresh water as a resource to be used for our personal convenience and profit, instead of as the essential element of a living ecosystem. Only 3% of the world's water is fresh, but that small amount is being quickly depleted or destroyed. The UN predicts that by 2030, 47% of the human population will live in areas of water stress, defined as areas where demand for water exceeds supply for at least part of the year or where poor quality restricts its use. In addition, the World Health Organization warns that water scarcity occurs in areas where there is plenty of rainfall or fresh water and affects 1 in 3 people on every continent of the globe. In July 2010, the United Nations declared access to clean water and sanitation a human right. However, today the World Health Organization still estimates that 2.6 billion people lack access to basic sanitation and that 884 million people in the world don't have access to safe drinking water. Without access to basic sanitation or clean drinking water, people are forced to consume water from polluted waterways that carry dangerous and deadly diseases, including AIDS, cholera, and malaria, as well as diarrheal diseases. Diarrheal disease alone amounts to an estimated 4.1% of the total disability-adjusted life year global burden of disease and is responsible for the deaths of 1.8 million people every year. Additionally, it is estimated that diarrhea is responsible for 1.5 million child deaths each year, constituting about 15% of total child deaths under 5 in developing countries. Despite how it may appear, issues surrounding water quality are not limited to the Third World. The situation in the global north is better, but not acceptable. 20% of all surface water in Europe is seriously threatened, and 40% of U.S. rivers and streams are too dangerous for swimming, fishing, or drinking, as are 46% of lakes due to the massive toxic runoff from industrial farms. Estuaries like the Chesapeake Bay and Puget Sound are so polluted as a result of the American lifestyles that it has eliminated huge economic sources and become unsafe to even enter the water. It's our failure to control toxic chemicals before they cause trouble in the environment that haunts our waters all across the nation. While the indications of the health effects the polluted water systems have had on the animals living within them and the potential crisis coming for the human population paint a dire picture, there is still a lot that needs to be addressed. In 1972, the Clean Water Act targeted pollution coming out of a pipe from city sewage and industrial plants, but waste flowing off of farmland was left largely unregulated. Nationwide, industrial agriculture now produces more than 3 times the raw waste of humans. This problem has only increased and will continue if nothing is done to stop it. There is no telling what the possible side effects of consuming water deemed clean enough by the Environmental Protection Agency will be 20 years down the road. Do you know what's in your drinking water? Vicki Blazer, a fish pathologist at the U.S. Geological Survey, did a study in 2003 that sparked controversy across the nation. Her shocking findings were male fish that were carrying female eggs in the Potomac River. Her worry was that whatever man-made chemicals in the river water were bending the gender of fish could also pose a danger to humans. If it's hurting the fish, asked Blazer, what is it doing to us? But Vicki Blazer is not alone among scientists. Many have been and continue to research the water quality across the country and around the world, looking for emerging contaminants in our water. Across the U.S., endocrine disruptors have been found in fish and amphibians. Scientists have even linked them to abnormal mutations, including hermaphroditic frogs. Specifically, triclosan, an antimicrobial pesticide, linked to antibiotic resistance and alteration of sex organs in animal studies, is used in products that thousands of consumers use regularly, like toothpaste, hand soap, face wash, body lotion, and cosmetics. The Centers for Disease Control estimates that 75% of the U.S. population has triclosan in their bodies. Triclosan has been found in human urine, blood, breast milk, and umbilical cord blood. It also accumulates in the environment, contaminating surface and groundwater, survives wastewater treatment processes, and persists in sludge that is dumped on agricultural crops. Beyond health concerns and the environmental impact, population growth as well as water scarcity and pollution are propagating poverty around the world. In sub-Saharan Africa alone, 40 billion hours of labor is wasted each year carrying water over long distances. Access to clean water is really the catalyst for other forms of development and improvement in third world countries. Household incomes are spent on purchasing water and medical treatment for water-related diseases, preventing parents from paying for school fees for their children or even food for their families. These factors contribute to keeping people trapped in poverty.
While population growth, especially in more developed countries, can be beneficial, it can also have the opposite effect in less developed nations of the world. Population growth can lead to medical advances, which in turn can lead to fewer deaths. It can also contribute to advances in technology. However, overpopulation can also lead to increased crime, environmental problems, pollution, disease, and furthered poverty.
While the situation is dire, it isn't hopeless. At the most basic level of each of us as individuals, we can make many changes to move towards a better future. As a way to combat an ever-growing population, the great deal of consumption associated with it, we can stop wasting food and energy. We can go green, and we can stop consuming like there is no end, for just a starting point. Be aware of these issues. Limit the trips you take in your car or take public transportation. Be conscious of the products you purchase and use in your home. Prevent your home from becoming any more polluted so we can move towards a cleaner and healthier future. Most important, we can act now. By making these changes, we can save our world. We need to think about our future, not just the present, to help ensure a bright future we will all enjoy. A future that is ensured by proper planning, education, and worldwide cooperation.
Without changes in global government policy, lifestyles, and consumption, we are sure to run into a world empty of the necessary resources for our species' survival on this planet. In every corner of the globe, we are polluting, diverting, pumping, and wasting our limited supply of fresh water. This is happening at an exponential level as population and technology grows, as well as all the other natural resources.
Without drastic changes in current global policy concerning the preservation of natural resources, air quality standards, and waste management worldwide, we're headed straight into a potentially expensive and dangerous future. For too long, we have bought into the myth of abundance and used, abused, and moved water and our other natural resources as if it is unlimited.
We only have one planet's worth of water and land to support resources for agriculture, energy, and our other needs. Consequently, it is our responsibility as citizens and as a nation to prevent these problems and change our lifestyles. If we do, it will help to decrease population growth and the rate of pollution our planet is currently experiencing.
It is a matter of human rights, health, the environment, and the future of the planet, as well as all the human population and anyone with any sort of compassion. We need to open up our eyes and see the gruesome future we're headed toward. We have created this mess, and it is time to fix things for good.